All right. How's it going, everyone? How's it going? 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 Oh my, it's been a week. The come down from going to a really nice concert is so rough. Cause I was really hyped up and excited, and then all of a sudden the week is just so drab. The work week is so miserable. It's so hard. I just want the month to end. But what's it called? We still got a little bit more August left. And that's not a bad thing. It's a little more August is pretty nice. We're getting towards autumn a bit. I feel like as I start to crawl a bit towards autumn. Ah yeah, 1-5. Found hi Izzy the Ace. How's it going? Also found a way to emulate the Switch. It means I could play it anyway. Oh nice. Be able to crack it open. I feel like what's it called? The moment I was able to discover being able to crack the Switch, not the Switch, the 3DS. It was like a revelation. Like it's so fun to be able to kind of almost make a little project out of I guess tinkering with it and seeing how it can be kind of improved upon at least a little bit, yeah. But yeah, I can't have. I just emulate on the Android. Oh yeah, nice. Oh, emulating. My bad. Yeah. Oh, it's being able to replicate it. Oh, I wonder how sophisticated it can be. Playing Switch games on an Android. If there's some games that aren't able to run this stuff versus some of it that works perfectly. I could definitely imagine Ace Attorney being pretty easy to crack because it's not one of those kind of in depth intense ones like Pikmin or Zelda. But man, it's a good time. Sometimes they don't work like Minecraft, Animal Crossing. I imagine probably some of the network connectivity is a bit of a challenge. For a lot of games that run off of online servers, it might be a little bit more difficult to be able to get it going. Animal Crossing and Splatoon, I could imagine it being a project just to get it I guess in emu form. But yeah. Aside from the week being a bit of a drag, I did enjoy seeing a lot of this stuff for Persona 3. I'm really hyped up for the new remake of it. It's one of those things where as I start to see more updates and more little things that they're adding and UI changes, I kind of get the same little just kind of hit of excitement that I got back when I first played it. And on weekends, I in the meantime while I get to Eternites, or if I'm able to scrounge enough coins for either Cyberpunk or Armored Core, like I've been dipping into Persona 3 a bit again. It was one of the first games I covered, so it's kind of exciting to see not just a revelation that there's going to be a remake soon, but also just kind of gradually getting myself excited for it. I'm not sure if I'll be able to finish it in time of the remake because I don't want to get myself too burnt out on 3, but it's definitely something where I'm getting myself a little more anticipated with every other week. So I can imagine probably by the time I get I guess enough funds, or I think probably by the time I start being able to get things going, getting my rig going, or maybe for a cat a milestone, be able to hit the anniversary or the what's it called, the 100 milestone, and just impulse buy a game. But aside from that, everything's pretty solid. I'm probably gonna get started on the game soon because what's it called? I don't have too much on my end that I'm contending with as much. I did make a project out of getting a PS2 set up because I finally got the HDMI for it. I just have to see if I could play it on my computer monitor because I tried to get it on my Samsung TV, but it's not quite connecting because it doesn't trust the cables. I'm like, what do you mean you can't trust the cables? It's a TV. It's an HDMI. You have ports for this. I should be able to plug whichever things into the HDMI cords I want. It doesn't have to be alongside with the smart TV setup. Like, please. Please. Let me get my little guy over here. Alright. Let me get on loading. I am in a very weird spot because I think I just like finished one of like the sort of back and forths with the juries. Yeah, I got to this. I'm in like the second part of the summation exam. I think the first part I was able to kind of get like two people to kind of disagree with each other enough so that they're like, oh yeah, maybe like this person's really biased and wants to like convict like Gina because she's poor. But what's it called? Number 6, I guess, was like, this actually makes me want to like declare innocent, so let's go. Thank you for the summation exam. Kindly hand the new photographic print to the bailiff to be filed as evidence. The post-shooting photograph has been entered into the court record. Let's see. Another print in the court record. I wonder if we can make use of that. How many dead fish? Oh yeah, what's it called? The guy on the cruise ship. So let's see. J.R.R. 5. Mind made up stop. Global radio transition of verdict to follow. So this thing about your radio verdict. Let's see what that's like. Sorry, I gotta get my drinks in. I got my water. I got some ginger tea. Good stuff. Sorry, radio transmission? What do you mean?
Are you not from the Far East Stop?
Yes, from the Empire of Japan.
All communication with Far East nations used to take place by mail. A Royal Mail steamer takes more than a month to complete the journey.
Ah, but now we have the electric telegram, so we can send messages using electrical signals. Thousands of miles of cables have been laid across the ocean beds, connecting the entire world.
Thousands of miles of cable? On an ocean bed? It makes my head hurt just thinking about it.
You are well informed, young lady. But cables will soon become a thing of the past. Stop.
And just when I was starting to catch up.
Radio transmission is the future. Stop. Messages carried over airwaves from four corners of the globe. Stop. Excitement growing. Stop. Atmospheric and electric. Stop.
Right. Try not to wear out your fingers.
Error wireless telegraphy. Stop. Driving technological revolution. Stop. And people say inventions like the stereoscope are the height of technology. Ha! What utter piffle. I can't understand it. I really can't. You're all just silly toys.
Oh man. You. Number 3. Sorry to interrupt you when you're obviously fuming, but...
What?
Do you perhaps have something to say about juror number 5's last remark? As if I couldn't guess.
Oh, you bet I do. Say it again. Go on. I dare you. Goodness, are you talking to me?
I think he might just be, yes.
You think stereoscopes are just toys, do you? Huh?
Imagine Morse was gossiping with someone with her possessed to send messages completely unrelated to trial. This guy thinks telescopes are... all telegrams are so much better. Stop. I think the guys next to me killed someone. Stop. Just texting during the trial, but in like the 1900s, where it's like, definitely guilty. Stop.
Absolutely. I mean, really. A machine to view photographs in 3 dimensions? Why on earth would What? Just not use your eyes to look around the world around you. It's all three-dimensional.
What a great way to appease the man.
No, I'm sorry. Stereotypes have no practical use at all. You just don't know. Pardon? I think you'll find that viewing a photograph through a stereoscope can unlock all sorts of possibilities. I'm obviously going to demonstrate.
What sort of possibilities?
Well, take a crime scene for example. If you have a pair of photographs from a crime scene that could be used through a stereoscope, it could reveal hidden clues that you never even noticed before.
What?
Have you got it, any, Bruno? Any prints that we can look at with the stereoscope?
Absolutely. How about this print here? It should do the trick, I think. Let's see. Photograph of Gina. This one. Let's see. Present. Alright then. Juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any two suitable photographic prints?
Of course I can.
Very well then. I'd like you to demonstrate.
I'd be delighted. Just one more print and I'll amaze you. Oh.
Let's see. It would be the post-shooting. The post-shooting. Alright. These two prints are both taken within the same camera in the Windibanks on the night in question.
Yes, I see. Tell me, Mr. Lawyer. Do you know how stereoscopic images work? Stereographic images work? Do you understand the principle?
Well, I think so. I did have a lesson only yesterday. The left and the right eye images need to be the same, only with a slight shift in the positions of some objects. Then when your brain merges the two images together inside your head, it notices the shift as if it were depth.
Yes, exactly.
It's that small shift between certain objects in the two pictures that are really important.
So what happens if you use two photographs that are exactly the same then?
No, obviously it wouldn't work at all. Not for seeing the scene three-dimensionally anyways.
Oh, of course. Now I see.
Ah, I think the young girl has discovered the secret.
I have.
Oh, the eye crossing. Can you uncross your eyes before you tell me?
Have another look at these two pictures from Hurley's camera, Bruno. Go on. Can you see that there's a really obvious difference between them?
Of course there is. There are two people in the first and no people in the second.
Well, yes. You can see that straight away. But now, try looking at the pictures in 3 dimensions.
Oh man, gotta whip out my hacked 3DS. Alright, I'll give it a go. So to start with, you have to cross your eyes and try to make the two pictures overlap exactly. Let's see. By crossing my eyes, I can make the quill pens for each picture overlap in the middle. Wait.
Well, did you manage to see it properly?
Yeah, I saw it. What's going on with these two pictures? some of the things on the counter sort of jump out at you. I love the picture of just Van Zeek's looking with the stereoscope, as if he's just kind of like,
Let me see this. Let me look for myself. I don't care if I look stupid. I need to seek out the truth.
yes, that's it. You see, that's the other amazing power of stereoscopes. Other amazing power?
Is something going to explain this black magic? Why the deuce do some of the things on the counter seem to jump out at you like that,
I think you'll find it that if you consider the basic principle of the stereoscope, you'll answer your own question.
Basic principles of the stereoscope?
As I said before, if you try to look at the individual pictures using a stereoscope, it won't work at all. It's the slightest shift in positions of certain objects that lets you see pictures three-dimensionally. In other words, even though at first glance it seems the objects in the counter haven't moved at all between the two pictures, this shows that actually, there must have been a slight shift in their positions.
Yes, there must have been.
Ooh.
Now hold on, sir. You got a reasonable grasp of this whole cross-eyed business now, I'd say. But why the devil does this shift between the two prints exist in the first place? Well, what's your answer, fellow? Come on, you're the cross-eyed master.
What? Me? I haven't the first idea.
You know, Runo, it's quite simple.
It is?
Just think it through step by step. The first photograph was taken at 1 a.m. Then 30 minutes later, the second photograph was taken. But the position of some of the items on the counter appears to be shifted slightly in the interim.
So that means that sometime in the half-hour interval, someone must have tampered with the things on the counter. Zookars! Zookars! Zoinks! 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 Yeah! Someone tampered?
New information, stop. Not mentioned in the testimony so far, stop.
Yes. We've had to go around in circles a little here, it seems. But I'm starting to see what I should be aiming at in the summation exam now. Ladies and gentlemen, the question now is clear. We know the items on the countertop were moved, but by whom?
Are you suggesting you might know?
Of course. Can you tell right now who's responsible for almost the imperceptible shift in the items on the counter? Man, it'd have to be either of the Skulkins. Man, I guess Nash or Ringo. I'm gonna say maybe Nash, just to kind of start with the first dude.
Take that!
It was the witness currently in the stand, the Skulkin brothers.
Wait! This does not agree with what the brothers said in testimony before. They said they did not even have to pull dukes from Lucy lockets. My phrase book says dukes means hands and Lucy lockets means pockets. But is this another lie? Is this what you are saying?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Now hold on a minute. You can't be sure of that.
I quite agree. The accused is a commonplace pig purse after all. It's perfectly possible that she might have went through the things on the desk in order to steal. See what she might be able to steal.
I think that's unlikely.
And why exactly?
As you can see from this photographic print, the defendant was pointing a gun at the victim. It would seem, as my learned friend indicated, that she was coerced Mr. Windibank to open the storeroom front door. Oh man. Saying my learned friend. Oh, that's so funny. In other words, Miss Lestrade's interests lay within the storeroom, not the main shop, giving her no reason to touch anything on the counter. All of which points to one thing. The Skulkin brothers have omitted key facts in their testimony.
But the accused is a pickpurse, common gutter trash. Why look any further for the wrongdoer here?
Because the Skulkin brothers are thieves, madam. No better, in fact, worse than a pickpurse. I believe that these brothers are looking for something on the victim's counter that night. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you would condemn the defendant on the grounds that she's a pickpocket, would it not be at least right and proper to thoroughly scrutinize testimony given against her by two thieves?
Oh, shit. I, for one, would like to hear more about the shady pair.
Oh, you know, it doesn't want to, like, dirty his gloves out. Contaminate them.
Can you all see now? I think you'll find stereoscopes are at playthings. You've seen the extraordinary potential firsthand.
Wholehearted grease stop. Must purchase at the trial stop. Will return home via Regent Street stop.
Oh man, having to get a stereoscope from GameStop after all this. Stop.
I'll have to buy a stereoscope from GameStop. Stop. Must see the new Sony video stereoscope GameStop.
Well, it would seem this trial has yet to run its course. Ladies and gentlemen, the jury have declared their inclinations via the mighty scales of justice. I hereby call the summation exam to conclusion with the balance altered in the defendant's favor. 2 lean for guilty, 4 lean to not guilty. Accordingly, the jury is without consensus. I order this trial to continue.
Yay, well done. Oh, by the way,
What?
you should hold on to this, Runo. You'll never know when it comes handy in future.
Oh,
You'll never know when it comes in handy in the future.
twice in one trial would be unusual, surely. But alright. Stereoscope isn't added. Yes, stereoscope.
Lord Van Zeeks, you will instruct the witnesses that the court demands additional testimony from them.
I'm sure it won't spoil the bouquet to do so, my lord.
I've won myself another chance to probe that pair about their activities that night, at least. And I won't stop probing them until I've proven that Gina's innocent. Oh man, talking dirty in the courtroom. To be continued in a couple minutes. Do you save your progress? Sure. Let us save. Let us proceed with the save.
Order, please. Let us resume proceedings. Witnesses, you will now retake the stand.
Oh man. Again. Why is the detective taking the stand again?
I presume you've had the defendant's counsel summation examination.
Oh, yeah, Governor.
I did, Gov. I did. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
Oh,
Blimey! This is gonna be hard work. Earlier in this trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions after you entered Windibanks. Well, it was the Bedlam soon, weren't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have to pull... Time to pull me dukes up the Lucy lockets. But you did have your hands in the Lucy lockets. That was an Uso. You're Usodaing. You're using the soda. You brothers. You brother fuckers. Oh, blimey. On the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter.
we may never done that
Sort of thing, how you figure that? You will now give formal testimonies once again. You'll tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question, and this time you will tell the truth.
Each lie that passes through your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. And that, gentlemen, may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. Just like the chalice I crushed in my hands and is now causing me to bleed all over my hands.
Oh!
A thought worth pondering, perhaps.
Say no more.
Say no more, Gav, we hear you.
We'll blab, we'll speak, we'll peach. Illegal entry, the whole truth, in the whole.
Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling through nothing.
It was when we heard the gunshot, see? Made us both jump and all that stuff went flying.
Lummy, it didn't give me a fright. We was thinking the shooter'd come through the door and get us next.
We stuck everything back where we found it and scarpered straight into him in the black.
We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never even had a chance, did we?
And so you admit to the defense's accusation. You did indeed ransack Mr. Windibank's countertop on the night in question.
Not ransack, Governor, no.
That's right, Nash, that's right. It's more like we tidied up, yeah? Sorry.
By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled on hearing the gunshot, having first made good their mess. The way you say it, we hardly sound like crooks rough at all.
We don't, Nash, we don't. Can't even make us sound a little more cutthroat?
It can't just be a coincidence that these men showed up at the Windibanks that night.
There is more to their testimony that meets the eye, I'm sure of it. Let's see. It was there when we heard the gunshot, made us both jump. Okay, you heard this. What was going on?
Hold it!
So what you're saying is, the sound of the gunshot shocked you so much, you knocked all those things off the counter?
Well, it shocked one of us, yeah? This bag of nerves needs to learn to keep his shirt on.
Look, it was loud alright. Blimey, me dead granny would have woken up with that bang.
Big brother screamed like a bloomin' baby and fell over the counter. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot.
I got tangled up in some marionette we walked over the picture frame. We knocked the scale on the floor.
You've really mastered working quietly then.
What a racket. Me granny would have been scared back into her grave with the clatter like that.
So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise.
And then I mean, it was quiet as a mouse, and then all of a sudden, bang!
Oh man, he's aggressively eating his fish and chips. Let's see. Let's press him on this. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Miss Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add?
Like I keep saying, I didn't appreciate being lumped with these scoundrels.
No, something to add about their testimony. Right? You seem to react just now to what Mr. Skulkin said. Did it make you think of something?
It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even bother to mention it, only. Well, the fact is, case don't get solved if you know the little details.
How about you just tell us what's going on in your mind instead of dragging your feet?
As you know, we brought these fellas into the yard for some questioning last night. And the statement they gave told the slightest different story to what they're saying now.
Oh,
Did it?
You claimed you had the victim shout out something before the gunshot.
Might
have, Gov, might have. Does ring a bell now you mention it.
Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still. I can't help feeling like perhaps you might have been a little bit sloppy in your testimony here, eh, fellas?
If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has here, though, proven to be, I shall be forced to bring the very harshest punishment to bear against them.
We should let the Skulkins free on the grounds of them being silly.
We'll give it right this time.
It's like... They have diplomatic immunity on the grounds that they were just having a larf. They were just having a gag. A goof.
That's it. Yep. It's all coming back to me now.
Then speak. Supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously returned to your questionable minds, sirs.
Right you are, Gov. Just before the gunshot, we had a voice roll out telling me, "Give me that gun."
The Windibanks couldn't handle the silliness. It's just natural selection and a skill issue. He couldn't handle the silliness. They stumbled over too much stuff, knocked over too much pawn shop items.
The bloke what owned the place was holding a gun, so he should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl.
Oh man.
Hold it!
You're saying that Mr. Windibank had a gun in his hands?
Oh yeah, that was a sight, eh? Them two waving them guns at each other. Must have gotten pretty heated. I mean, just before he shouted out, we had the geezer say, "If you don't want to get shot."
Didn't really sound like he meant it, mine. More of an empty threat, you could say.
Mr. Windibank was known to keep a revolver on his sharp counter at all times. He also really liked to point it at himself. People say that to protect the articles in his keeping, he'd readily put a bullet in someone's head if required. That someone being himself, of course.
Good grief. Extraordinary devotion indeed, if alarmingly misguided.
Well, he certainly sounded like he was ready to pull the trigger the other night. Only, the person he was gonna shoot beat him to it. Cooked his goose proper.
Bet you wish they squeezed the trigger instead of wasting time shouting, "Give me the gun."
And it was directly after those words you heard the gunshot.
It was more or less the same time, Gov. Give me the gun!
Give me the gun.
Bam! Ah!
Kind of thing. Yes, a career in acting very tragically missed. Oh man, Windibank really couldn't handle the zaniness. They couldn't, what's it called, get down with the clown. They're like, wherein the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Chapter 5, we go clowning in this streets. Take that sensitive shit back to Case 4. We clown into this motherfucker. Take your sensitive ass back to Case 4.
Then we heard the sound of someone hitting a deck. Before everything went dead quiet.
After that, we done a slapjash job tidying the place up.
Oh, I really love how Ringo looks. He's just like a really just big ball of sunshine. Also has the really chubby, like, kind of like Mrs. Garrett-Deb cheeks, but like almost in like a dog kind of way, like a pug. Let's see. Present at the new, let's see. Why, instead of yelling at the girl, he was holding a gun, should have just fired. Okay. There is a picture that corroborates. Let's see. The photograph of Gina. Let's see. Here we go. I guess it would be something to this extent. He's not holding a gun there, though.
Objection.
You're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windibank, was wielding a gun? Is that correct?
That's it, Gov. You got the picture.
Yes, Nash, yes. No questions.
And yet, in the photographic evidence from the time in the incident clearly shows that Mr. Windibank was not in possession of a firearm of any description.
Objection.
You surprise me. Does the defense really intend to highlight evidence that compromises the position of the accused even more?
Furthermore, the defense has failed to establish the photographic print presented was taken suitably a short time prior to the victim's death. Your chronology is severely lacking, counsel.
Yeah, that's right.
Too right, Nash, too right. The old geezer could have been turning the tables on the girl, eh?
Hardly likely.
No, I'm afraid this won't stand as conclusive evidence.
2-5 isn't making it or broke. He's such an asshole in the first game. I guess he starts to come into his own as you start to learn more about him in the second time around. Yay. But yeah, I guess the music is quiet, so it's not like I'm actually going to get demerits for this.
Continue with the cross-examination, counsel, and heed my early warnings, witnesses.
A Skulkin's never Skulkin. Brothers will dramatically reenact their interpretation of true. Present the autopsy or the crime scene prompted in order to prove it. Was thinking the shooter would come out. Let's see. Let's move on back over. Couldn't have shot him, never even had the chance. That's it. That's the fullest extent.
What is it, Runo? You look really fierce. I could pour you some herbal tea if you're tired.
Oh, thank you, but I'm fine. Being such a logical thinker, you'll probably laugh. But I feel as though these brothers are still hiding something. Something important.
It's nothing more than a feeling, though. I have no proof to support it. Well, feelings can be really illogical at times. Sorry? People's expressions, the movement in their eyes, the word they choose. You can take it all in your brain and quietly analyze it to come up with a feeling that, like you described. You've concluded that there's something suspicious about the testimony without knowing why is all. I think you should trust your instincts. Iris, thank you. Sometimes I think she's 10 years old and I must be 5. Let's see. Just before it said give me the gun. Should have fired instead. It didn't give half a fright, thinking the shooter would come out the door and get us next. We stuck everything where we found it and scarpered. Couldn't have shot the broker, never had the chance. Holding a gun, should have fired instead. Because it's like, where exactly do I go from here? Because I feel like the crime scene photo is something where I had like concise proof. But at the autopsy report, there's something here. No other visible signs of trauma, instant death from the bullet wounds. From the back. Lace was holding a gun, should have just fired instead. What about this? No, there's nothing here. I've already presented this and they said that it's not good evidence. Let me try to think much. So I would almost say report instant death from the back. Is there, let's see, is there some kind of stuff in here? Oh, sorry, I just grilled this person again. Sorry. Let's see. Just go ahead. One of those times where they can't really present anything. I guess maybe I'll start pressing statements. Let's see. It didn't give you half a fright. We were thinking the shooter would come out and get us next. So, you didn't try to open the storeroom front then?
Not on your life.
We went dead quiet after that, put it right behind me up. But anyway, the door was locked, wasn't it? No way it was open.
Yes, of course. It was locked from the inside, or so we've been led to believe.
It was, Gov, it was. From the inside.
Right, so we had no way of knowing what was going on in there, did we?
Unless there was some other way to get a view from inside the storeroom. Like, through the keyhole or a spy hole, perhaps?
No ring, no bells.
No lights, no lights.
We had to cut and run. We didn't notice anything like that.
We're still cutting our teeth in the game, see? But one day... we really cut the mustard.
Please, cut it out.
But as we know, behind the closed door was the victim's lifeless body, with the accused not 2 feet away.
Yes, unfortunately. Gina was in there unconscious with a gun in her hand.
To confirm, would it be correct to say that neither of you stepped foot inside the storeroom?
That's right, Garth, that's right.
Good enough, even if we wanted to.
Back where you found it, Scarford, let's see.
Hold it!
Yes, whereupon you fired a shot from your own gun at Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Oh, yeah, he was a bit hasty there.
We was, Nash, we was. Truth be told, I was already shaking like a leaf when you lot turned up.
If you're shaking like a leaf, don't put a loaded gun in your hand.
Good advice, miss, good advice.
Truth be told, my mind went totally blank. Before your mind goes totally blank, make sure you don't have a loaded gun in your hand. Mental note later, miss.
After that, we legged it down the street, but apparently we looked dodgy the coppers somewhat. They clapped the derbies on us like winking.
And after you'd been handcuffed, the police found this revolver in your possession, correct?
Well, yeah.
But listen, that proves done it, eh?
Put in a shot, but never had the chance. I feel like I haven't pressed the first one. We did knock a new things over. If that's the case, then why didn't you testify that effect in the first place?
Well, you know, we ain't exactly squeaky clean, are we?
We ain't, Nash, we ain't. We admit to something like that. People would think we was up to no good.
Well said, Ringo, me old China. We only land ourselves in even more trouble.
And in fact now, as a result of lying in your previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done. Landed yourself in even more trouble.
Oh, well,
Right, rotten luck.
Says the rotten apple eater.
Witnesses, explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter?
we never ransacked nothing.
Right, Nash, right. Why don't we tidy up the place? Sorry.
Let's get that last one going.
Hold it!
And why should we believe that?
What? Well, cause it's true, ain't it?
The place was totally empty when we went in.
At the time, the victim was already in the storeroom, having been forced to open the door by the accused who had a gun in his hand. In other words, on the night in question, these 2 witnesses never even laid eyes on the proprietor of the pawnbrokery, Mr. Winterpink. Correct.
You got it, mister.
Down to a T.
So the Skulkin brothers never actually encountered Mr. Winterpink. Is that really true, I wonder? That's the Good to hear from witnesses. Brother and sister have a gun. Oh! Thank you so much, Sachitsuna. Thank you so much. I'm glad that everyone's here. Oh man. Hi everyone. How's it all going? How's it going, everyone? I am currently going through Ace Attorney Chronicles. I am in the middle of what's it called? Trying to figure out exactly what I need to do with this one exchange. Oh, hi everybody! Hi everyone! Oh, it's so nice to see you all. You're all so awesome. Oh, thank you so much, Sejitsuna. Oh, the unspeakable story. Oh, man, speak. Let's see. Was there anyone else who could have shot? I was trying to press everything. Maybe the second one? Let me press maybe the second and see. Oh, there is an extra one.
I've been waiting for this.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh. Sorry, I need to check my app. I feel like, what's it called? Oh shit. Oh, thank you all so much. I'm so happy. Oh, thank you for following A12 Flames. Nice. How's my attorneying so far? It's been really awesome. I've been really having a good time with Ace Attorney. I'm almost at the end of part 1. So, I'll soon be able to get to like the part 2 of it. But I've been reading along and it's been a good time. Like, in case everyone's not as familiar, like, what's it called? This is the trial where I have to avenge this dude, Mr. Pop Windabank, who, what's it called? Had been, shot by a random person. And Gina, this young girl who I had gotten to know in a previous trial, is accused of this crime. But these two are star witnesses who I need to prod for more info. So, what's it called? I think, let's see, from the last point we were like, just before, let's see, I'm pressing this person, they were saying, oh, there's a really hot guy in the beginning I want to step on. Oh yeah, Benedict. That's the blonde dude in this particular one. But yeah, hold it. So in fact you heard a voice and a gunshot almost simultaneously. We did, Gov, we did.
Although, I suppose if you're being honest, we had kind of a wavering voice before yelling all.
If you don't want to get shot,
Give me the gun! Ah!
Kind of thing. A career in acting tragically missed. And where the voices are coming from, could you tell?
of course we could. From the other side on the door behind the counter it was.
Oh, thank you so much for the... Oh, thank you for praising the voice acting. I really try my best to try to capture all the voices. I know that what's it called. Sometimes my voices end up getting a little bit, like, recycled, but I have a really good time with a lot of the Ace Attorney voices.
Of course we could. From the other side of the door behind the counter it was.
From the storefront, where the victim was found dead.
And the voice you had, it was that of the victim, Mr. Windabank?
On me granny's life, of course it was.
Well, thank you so much, Sejitsuna. I'm really blushed.
On his granny's life, of course.
So, that would mean that you both knew Mr. Windabank and the sound of his voice?
Ah! Well, what do you mean, what?
What, Nash? What? Any ideas?
Yes, Counsel. Indeed it would.
Nah. We didn't know the geezer.
I'm supposed to deny when the bloke in all fancy clobber is giving us the evil eye.
If you value your lives, you'll ensure your testimony is accurate and true.
On me granny's life it is.
On his granny's life, it must be.
It's a good job his granny's dead.
To summarize then, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, You then heard the gunshot, causing you to stumble and upset the items on the counter, scattering them over the shop floor.
Will make us sound like we're clumsy.
Don't forget we tied it up like good little boys. After way. Anyway, the way I see it.
The bloke got the gun. It didn't give me a fright the shooter would come out and get us next. Stuck everything back where he found it. Let's see. There has to be something. I'm doing really bad in this part. Maybe I'll try to submit the info again and see if maybe I can press on it. Let's see. Alter the testimony accordingly. Maybe I'll press this one more time. Let's see. Alright, perfect. I guess that's all taken care of. Do you want a hint? That would be nice, please. Sorry. I don't usually beg for help, but I'm like, I'm feeling really silly at the moment. I have a feeling it has to do with representing like the crime scene photo, but I'm wondering where it needs to be. I'm like, Let's see. Let me try presenting. Holding the gun, so he should have. Think about how they acting. Where was the gun aimed? Because I know in the autopsy report it says like right behind, so it wouldn't make sense for it to what's it called? It wouldn't make sense for it to be from the front. Oh, and the place was holding the gun. Should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl. Maybe it's still number 2. We heard the voice, give me a gun. So probably maybe if I were to be a betting man. Let's see. I would probably present the autopsy report. Okay, I'll be lurking, getting the streaming snacks. Have fun, everyone. Have a nice job lurking. Have a nice job. Hopefully I'm able to get these correct.
Objection.
Oh no, the music is playing. Oh no, the music's playing. Stop. 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 No. Let's see. Chapter 5. Maybe I should just use the regular photo instead. I'm gonna blow it all on this. Let's see. Holding the gun, should have just fired. Maybe I'll try saving it here so that I'll be able to like save scum like a scumbag. If I do really bad and I'll mess up. Let's see. Present the photo again. Because I have a feeling that it would be the photograph of Gina. I just didn't have the info to do so. Crime scene photo. This one.
Objection.
Oh, I did it! I did it! Oh my. I finally did it. I've stopped the music. So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windibank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct?
That's it, Gov. You got the picture.
He has not, she has. No question.
And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident clearly shows
that Mr. Windibank was not holding a firearm of any description. What? What?
Gordon Bennett, that ain't right.
Objection!
There can only be no question that the victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Windibank's gun was found at the scene of the crime.
My mom made unaware why she can't take me to the nail salon. I'm a G. Benedict reference. Do this backstory. Oh, no. Do not do. Oh my. Found at the scene of the crime.
Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hand.
Yeah, that Mutula using the victim's own gun to finish him off.
Give me that gun.
Ah!
Kind of thing.
Hold it!
I would not say the specifics. That would be fine. It's okay. You don't have to.
Stay exactly where you are. Right there. If the crime had taken place as you've so colorfully described in your testimony, it would give rise to the undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out.
Goodness. Are you sure, counsel?
You intrigued me, my learned friend. Now let's see some evidence to support your claim. Where is proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moments?
Let's see. I would just present this.
Take that!
According to their testimony, the witnesses claim to have heard the shout of "Gimme that gun," followed by the gunshot.
Indeed. With the two events happening almost simultaneously, or so we've been led to believe.
So I said, do you want to make up a theory for Benedict's backstory? I guess if it involves that, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe there was like a happenstance at a salon. I wouldn't be so sure.
That's right. Now, if the testimony's true, then it would mean that the moment of the death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, in the autopsy report, it clearly states that the victim died instantly after being shot from behind. So as I stated before, there is an undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
Wasn't what made me think. It was the reason why I couldn't go. Oh, ran out of money. Oh no. I'm really sorry about that. There wasn't enough money to go to the salon and such.
But it's the God's honest truth.
It was not, it is. And then we was shot the night.
The shopkeeper had a gun in his hand, and we saw it with our own bleeding eyes.
Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Windibank hold the gun?
Something like that might have slipped out.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've all just heard the admission by these two witnesses that on the night in question, they actually saw with their own eyes the victim wielding a gun. Which can only mean that despite the testimony of the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person.
Nash, Order. Witnesses, explain yourselves at once.
Well, the thing is, we weren't supposed to,
It would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears.
I made it quite clear that false witness would be the death of you.
The Skulkies know things. Oh, the Skulkies are Skulkin. Am I to understand that you've replaced the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies?
Ever so sorry, Governor. Truth is,
Cut it out, Nash, cut it out. If we blab now, you know what it'll do to us.
He? Who are they talking about?
A Skulkin's never Skulkin. But they can sulk. Oh my.
Let me make
I've
your...
been waiting for this.
Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much. To our lovely new follower. Yes. Thank you so much, downloading. You're so awesome. Thank you so much for the follow.
Let me make your positions here perfectly clear. You will talk. There is no other option available for you.
Bruv, come on. The game is up.
Well, we have the guts of our gutters.
In case it hasn't quite sunk in yet, no matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out.
On the night in question, it is now apparent that your brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again to explain the precise circumstances under which the meeting took place.
Do we have to?
On pain of death. I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your last time to tell the truth.
Alright, so we just got inside the gaff and heaved the sigh of relief when the geezer showed up in smoke.
Give me the gun, he bellowed, and then they flew at us like he's possessed. I thought we had it.
For an old geezer, the bloke was as strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter.
But I pulled me gun on him, and then I leaned through the door in the back room.
We never had to do with killing him. That's what happened, I swear.
So you're telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop?
Yeah, so, sorry.
Well, we find ourselves at an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably.
Pardon, Miss Governor, this time.
This time, Nash, this time. We ain't got nothing more to hide. Very well. Counsel the defense, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. This is it. The moment I've been waiting for. Let's see. Got inside the calf, laid a sign of relief. Give me the gun, he bellowed. For an old geezer, the bloke sure was strong. He chucked me over the counter. I'm curious about what he has to say about this. Yes, I noted that you mentioned the counter in your previous testimony too.
Well, yeah, of course we did.
He knocked over the load of books, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot.
I got tangled in some marionette what knocked over the picture frame, what knocked some sayers over the floor.
So in fact it wasn't the sound of the gunshot that shocked you and made you knock those things over the counter, was it?
Well, Big Bruv there went flying over the counter like a gunshot, I can tell ya. Then, the old geezer pinned him.
He did, Nash, he did. If you hadn't been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a blooming pancake in seconds.
At the time in question, the alarm was raised at the local police station via secret cable from the pawnbrokery. There is a button under the counter used to activate it, which was presumably pressed by the victim. That's right. When the brothers fled the scene and back onto the streets, they ran straight into the arriving police, didn't they?
Poor Mr. Windibank. He did everything he could to protect his shop.
I pulled me gun on him and then... Oh no, pulled me gun on him, then let through the door in the back room. So you had the gun. Or a gun. Were you intending to shoot Mr. Windibank?
No, never! I was just, looking out for me brother, and he was being flattened, don't forget.
By a man whose shop was being burgled, yes.
And then the man fled into the storeroom when you pointed your gun at him. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. He shoved me away, then ran through the door and shut himself in.
There's something about that last remark. Something that doesn't ring quite true.
I wonder why Mr. Windibank ran away into the storeroom.
What?
Well, according to what everyone's saying, Ginny was there waiting for him with the gun.
Ah, yes, that's right. Gina allegedly used Mr. Windibank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how did the gun end up in Mr. Windibank's hands again?
I have no idea, but it is strange, isn't it?
This little inconsistency could be significant. I should make a mental note of it.
Look, the point is, me and me brother here.
That's right, Nash, that's right. Me and me brother here.
We never had nothing to do. It all happened. Really? Really? You say you had nothing to do with it?
Nothing at all.
Nothing of nothing. The old geezer went and shot himself in the back room, didn't he?
Locked it was, from the inside.
We won't know it. Was 'cause we tried to open it.
But it was a decent door, that one. Good and strong. Wouldn't budge an inch.
So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker, there was only one person. The sole person who could have possibly shot the victim, the accused Miss Gina Lestrade.
It would indeed appear so. What say you to that, counsel?
I don't know. Was there anyone else apart from Gina who could have shot Mr. Windibank?
I think they could have.
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
What?
What's that look for?
From the moment you admitted your encounter with the victim face to face that night, the course of this trial changed completely.
Did?
What is your point, my learned friend? The question we must answer is who could have shot Mr. Windibank? It is my belief in the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. You have my attention. In that case, let us return to this plan of the premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So pray, what possible answer to the question of who shot the man could be there?
Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect to the two conundrums.
Two, my lord? Twice as many to be right, maybe.
Indeed. Namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time?
Understood, my lord.
Are you alright, Bruno?
I'm not entirely sure, but there's one thing I am sure about. If I can provide that there's credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely.
So now, time for some clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions posed by his lordship. If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where the person could have fired the gun.
Let's see, I guess they would have shot from outside here if they were in the back room. So I guess point the area where they would have fired from. Up over here.
Take that!
The defense believes the culprit could have shot the victim from this location.
And in answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time?
Assuming the victim could have been shot, it would have been probably over here. Yeah, it would have been from the back.
Take that!
The culprit shot the victim from outside of the room.
Continue.
Mr. Windibank died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood from the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body moved after death, which tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is, where was the shooter when the fatal bullet was fired?
So you're adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom?
Well, according to the Skulkin brothers' earlier testimony, I pulled my gun on him and then legged it through the door in the back room. If Mr. Windibank ran through the door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time.
Ah!
It was precisely at that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life, and that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom.
Come to think of it, you do remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial.
Moving on to findings of Scotland Yard's coroner, this report states that the bullet entered the wound on the rising diagonal trajectory. This means the victim was likely shot by someone shorter in height than himself.
Poor man.
Skulkins are so whimsical. Benedict needs more whimsy. He needs to counteract it with all of the whimsy.
Poor man shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety.
Ah, of course. He would have been leaning forward as he was running away. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would have entered his body from an upward trajectory.
So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Windibank.
Objection!
I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled the room. Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock?
But, what if someone else locked the door? Yes, there is someone who could have locked the storeroom door.
Is that so?
Very well then, counsel. Present your hypothesis to the court. In the scenario just described, the defense's assertion that the victim was shot from outside the storeroom. In which case, who shut and locked the storeroom from the inside?
I guess it would be Gina, because we're trying to prove her to be innocent.
Take that!
I wonder how tall Mr. Windibank is. I guess maybe on his bio he might have something. Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Objection!
That's absurd. You're suggesting the accused deliberately engineered the sealed door. For what possible reason?
There was a shooter, her cow was protecting herself.
Such actions would only serve to tighten a noose around her neck.
I'm inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel.
Ah, yes. That's a tricky one, that, isn't it?
Half-baked notions have no place in the courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please.
But of course Ginny would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it?
It does?
Well, if I was Ginny in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they?
Oh yes, obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Miss Lestrade and Mr. Windibank were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at that time, but at some point, Mr. Windibank must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom.
Intruders, eh? That's us, bruv.
If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom.
Yes, it would. Then, probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom door, hoping to escape danger. Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Windibank fell to the floor where he was just inside the storeroom. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment?
What? I see where you're going with this.
Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had murdered Mr. Windibank. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it. In order to save her own life.
Hold it!
I mean, we ain't the ones who've done it.
We ain't, Gov, we ain't. You gotta believe us. I mean, come on, we never shoot no one.
That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would. Because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes. There's only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, your brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Windibank's murder.
Well,
Where does that leave us?
You mean to say it wasn't the pickpocket who shot the pawnbroker after all?
I should have known it was the three brothers. They looked as shady as the dense forest.
That's amazing, Brunel. All the members of the jury seem to be firmly on your side now. I know. First time ever. Probably last.
Well, I think you've done it. Surely they'll have to give the verdict or not.
Inadmirable effort, my learned friend.
Deep Skulkin. He's laughing.
You find the situation amusing, Lord Van Zeeks. I myself find the defendant's argument most persuasive.
I dare say. Such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial Eastern nation. But such blatant malicious conjuring tactics amount to nothing more than inexcusable pettifoggery here.
It's like Baroque, stop talking about Japan like that, dude. What?
The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly credibly, cannot and will not stand. Because you see it contains a fatal flaw.
A fatal flaw?
Do you mean to tell me you're unaware of your logic's failing? I say, Lord Van Zeeks, Might be an idea to explain this ballet conjuring trick or whatever it is to the troops on the ground. The fatal flaw in my learned friend's argument is really simple to understand. Assuming you are not too dim-witted to count bullets. By George, can't bullets.
Oh dear. You noticed then.
Huh? What's everyone talking about?
Counsel,
Yes, sir.
tell the court how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime.
2. 2 bullets.
Correct. The first, that which hit the victim in the back, ending his life. And the second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, on the arrival at the scene.
Indeed, the defense presented the picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet early in the proceedings. The bullet which injured Mr. Sholmes appears to have passed through his body to strike the calendar.
Your lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Winterbank, and the Skulkin brothers' revolver. The evidence shows that the single bullet was fired from each gun.
Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each.
Now then, my learned friend. You yourself told the court moments ago that these 2 brothers shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes right before your eyes.
Yes, I did. Oh my goodness! I think you'll find.
As if a single bullet was fired from the garage gun, it Mr. Sholmes, it means. Winterbank not shot by the same gun stop. Only 1 bullet stop. Exactly. Yes, this Japanese street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument. However, it was never anything more than a diversion tactic, a trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny. Ah!
Order, order, order.
Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hallowed nectar into the public gallery. That was a waste of yet another barefoot. I hope you're happy with the wasted charades, my learned friend.
Lord Van Zeeks.
But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary girl. Despite her young years, she can regrettably no longer be described as juvenile. No, the person in the dock is far from the law-abiding citizen. She is past riddled with criminal conduct. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question with loathsome intent.
Pray the discourtesy that a Baroque-centric zine was named after it. Oh man, I have to see that. The Pray the Discourtesy fanzine.
As we see beyond doubt, this print which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. And I have here in my possession one more piece of evidence the prosecution wishes to present.
That disc.
I'll be taking whatever is Mr. McGilder's down to the yard, thank you.
No, don't. Don't give it to him. It's mine and it's mine.
I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to Mr. McGilder has to be taken in as evidence now.
Yes, that music box disc. Mr. McGilded's music box disc.
The very night before the hateful murder of Mr. Winterbank, The accused attempt to make off with the article. With none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I may add, but by brute force and brazen impudence.
This process accidentally scratches thumb, so she's a cruel, heartless demon who committed mass murder. Man, Baroque. I feel like Baroque is like probably the most dishonest dude in the planet, because he's definitely saying all this knowing that this shit didn't happen.
Good gracious.
Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on the account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl will not stoop if pushed, no crime she would not commit. The court forgets that fact at its peril.
I see. I think it would be prudent to take this music box disc into evidence, counsel, as a grim testament to the defense.
Lord Van Cheeks, I am...
Inspector Gregson. What?
Yes, Inspector.
We had a meeting yesterday at the yard with the prosecution service, and I think it was agreed that the disc wouldn't be used as evidence.
What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? That's the first time he said anything to Van Zeeks at all.
I am unaware of any such meeting.
But those were the instructions right at the top. The government bigwigs were insistent.
What will Gina do? Tsundere has to then wiggle her way to the
Inspector, I am a prosecutor and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted, thank you. The prosecution is to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord.
Indeed, bailiff.
Music box on the side reads McGilded.
The prosecution has established the accused motive, opportunity, and baseness of character. There's nothing more to add. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and rest my case.
Man, we're gonna have to fucking deal with these assholes again. Oh, I don't believe it. I had the jury on my side for once. For all 5 minutes.
Oh dear, it wasn't even for 5 minutes, Bruno.
My lord.
I wonder if I might say something at this point.
Proceed, Mr. Foreman.
Been stumbling around a bit of a fog up till now, if truth be told, but all of a sudden... The answer's barely obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for it.
Oh no.
Very well, the court will hear from the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you will present your leanings to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty.
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 Man, some of you already declared guilty. Man, y'all are jerks. I'm gonna have to do this shit all over again.
We have a consensus amongst the jury.
When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. How dare he use it against us?
Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more to this case than we realize. There must be. Because there's one thing I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windibank. That's beyond any doubt.
Very well. We will proceed with the second summation exam of the day. Mr. Foreman, are you and the other jurors ready?
Yarabeb squad is primed and ready for action, sir.
Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty.
One shadow goes, Arogas Ham. Different breed to us law-abiding citizens.
As only 2 bullets were found at the scene.
I would say the whole situation is done and dusted.
You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was a pickpocket.
I never imagined a simple operation would cause me such grief. The accused attempted theft the previous day. I can see I'm in for a busy day ahead. I am a ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns.
It would seem there's a little remaining room for doubt.
Have to admit I was rather bowled over by the argument put forth by the chap in black. But then that fell apart like a house of cards. I saw that I'd jolly well been hoodwinked. Well, no more.
No, the whole courtroom is turning against me.
It's not fair.
Iris.
The prosecutor's being mean.
That's lightly putting it.
It's because Jenny's done something she shouldn't have done in the past. That doesn't make her a murderer.
Allow me to savor this fruity vintage, while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Here's to the truth coming out, eventually.
That's enough preamble, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination.
Yes, my lord. It's getting spicy. Let's see, let's pet. I'm wondering what this surgery stuff is all about. Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with the trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here.
Very well. The thing is, I couldn't really say it has nothing to do with this trial, to be honest.
Huh?
I mean, there's no question the man was shot, but the bullet was simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think?
I almost don't want to ask, but the surgery you've been muttering about this whole time, were you operating on...
What was the fellow's name now? Herlick? No. Herloch? No. Herlock?
Herlock Sholmes, by any chance?
Yes. Good lord. It was that Herlock fellow.
What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Sholmes?
That's right. Using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a major op, I can tell you.
This is crazy.
Let me see. The fellow was brought in not long after the midnight, if I remember correctly. They said he'd been shot by some criminal or the other, so I opened up to him like the shot. But the funny thing is, I went over to his insides with a fine-tooth comb and couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw my hands and just stitch the fella back up.
I hate to state the obvious, but...
Yes?
Surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting.
The counsel of defense is correct. As clearly shown in the photographic print, the bullet that the Skulkin gun has fired, Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region and exited his body and lodged in the shop wall where the calendar was hanging by the floor door.
I think you'll find it to be quite simple if you just consider the problem three-dimensionally. Herlock ate the bullet.
What do you think I am, son?
Oh well, chair number 4 is about the best I could do.
As soon as I saw the wound in the man's stomach, I flipped him over.
Like a pancake. Are you saying you checked his back?
Of course I did. There wasn't a trace of injury. No sign the bullet left his body at all.
What?
That's the point! The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somehow in the man's innards, which is exactly what I was set to slicing him up. And I'm still none the wiser even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can someone explain how it happened? Can someone please solve the mystery?
It's almost as much of a mystery as how this jury was put together. Is looking for a ballistics expert.
I am a ballistics expert.
Let's see. I need a ballistics. Let me get you asking this guy.
Objection.
Those two statements clearly contradict the idea that the idea that all I do is pit jurors against each other.
Oh, what? A ballistics expert? Pitting. P-I-T-T, just like Bradley.
I know the Russian guy was making a really good point about Gina's kill. On the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers. But since there's no signs of an exit wound on his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Holmes was shot. Juror number 6.
Hello, my name is Villain. Pleased to meet you.
This apparent contradiction in the facts that has so clearly troubled juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery?
I have seen very similar situation in Motherland. It was night. There was blizzard. I was running along mountain road in freezing cold.
Golly.
The snow was piling high on both sides of the road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles and we were on dog sleds.
Mental note, don't ask too many questions.
I was shot from behind and I fell down in snow. And the situation was very similar to what I heard today from doctor. They could not find bullet in my body. And no signs of, how you say, exit wound.
Then where did the bullet go?
Bullet never hit me.
Well, if it never hit you, why did you fall down?
Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very close to my side.
What?
One small piece, very sharp, broke away from lump of ice and pierced my body. It made deep wound that looked just like a bullet wound.
Good gracious.
Good gracious. Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside me. And that is solution to mystery of Miss Disappearing Bullet. But that doesn't answer my question at all. The shooting happened in the pawnbrokery shop. And not a snowy mountain in another country.
Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same situation here.
Who now? Where exactly was Hurley shot again?
Well, according to the report, it was his stomach. Sort of around this area, I think.
Well, that's precisely where he always wears his little pouch on his belt.
A pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that.
Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps 3 glass vials of very dangerous chemicals that he uses in his investigations.
What? Really? Doctor, where's the pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing?
Well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived to the hospital, as far as I remember.
If I may. Lord Van Zeeks. While I realize it's forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summation examination, I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom. Sorry?
As I understand it, when the police arrived at the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured,
They removed the pouch in order to assess the wound.
ah, thank goodness. I thought I was getting forgetful at the moment. Since then, it's been in my safekeeping along with all of the other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it had not been touched since the incident occurred.
Very well. While extremely unconventional during the summation examination, I must demand the prosecution present the item in question with all speed.
Bring forth Mr. Herlock Sholmes' pouch.
I see. Well, this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes on the night in question, is it?
Look at that. One of the files is broken. The leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if the file exploded.
Exploded.
So that night, the bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun shot Mr. Sholmes' pouch.
It was the glass file exploding that caused the fellow's injury. This bullet did not penetrate the victim, but was deflected into the wall of shop.
A delightfully complex aroma.
Well, it would appear one mystery solved at least.
Though it has no bearing on the truth of the case. The bungling burgling brothers shot the detective and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered.
But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man. Thank you very much.
I'm glad I could help.
Due to its bearings in the conundrum, the court will sequester the scruffy pouch.
Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy.
Now the summation examination.
Let's check this out. This is starting to get really long. Can't find anything out of place. Gold bullets. It's really scorched badly just here.
Oh, the strap's broken, look.
It must be where the bullet hit then.
Let me see.
Ooh, there's a third bullet. Holy. Oh, what the? Iris, look! Behind where the broken file was. Do you see it?
Ah! That's the Skulkin brothers' bullet.
What a stroke of luck that it hit his pouch. This is an amazing discovery. What this means is, there were 3 bullets fired at Mr. Windibanks that night. We found exactly what the juror was talking about.
The third bullet.
It's time to press that juror again, I think. Let me check this out.
Oh, Bruno, look. This is blood.
Yes, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before.
Ha! Then my time to shine again. I thought I'd been waiting forever. Alright, hold still with the disc, Bruno.
Can we get this done quickly, Iris?
In a flash.
Ooh, green with envy.
Ooh, a lovely bright shade again.
Wait, that color.
What is it?
It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, is it? Alright. That's the Mr. McGilded one. Let's see. I kind of want to see that. I guess it's the Mr. McGilded's case notes. No, it's the blood one. Iris's story. No, blood sample. So the unknown one is on both McGilded's disc and the what's it called? And the calendar. That's pretty spicy.
Now the summation exam would It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion,
Please, my lord, a little more time. After all, that new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue, and I can't afford to overlook anything here. There's still a way to turn this around, somehow. I'm sure of it. Scratch his thumb on the disc. Oh, so the blood in the calendar is probably Benedict. Oh yeah, because he scratched at the beginning. 2 bullets were found at the scene. It is not done and dusted. It's the number of bullets that has you convinced, right?
Only 2 bullets were fired, and 2 guns that fired them has been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asked me how many were invited for dinner, I'd always tell her to count the table settings.
Well, that's logical, I suppose.
Although,
Yes?
sometimes after dinner, the crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china.
Does your employer dine with thieves?
So I suppose, if there was another boat somewhere which we were unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position.
A 3rd bullet somewhere on the scene. Could that be possible? I can prove it. It's just jailbroken iPad. Oh, that's so cool. Man, I feel like I have a tablet that I should probably try to like see if I can do that with. I think I might have tried to, but I think I did a better job at jailbreaking the 3DS. I can prove it. Allow me to show you then. The 3rd bullet. The 3rd bullet.
Here it is! We discovered it just now.
Yes! On the night in question in Windibank's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired!
What is this new trickery? You're chap, but he's conjurer. Where did you find the bullet?
It was lodged inside Mr. Shom's pouch.
What?
This pouch was removed from around Mr. Shom's waist before he was taken to the hospital. And since then, it has been touched by no one.
Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Skulkin brothers that night?
Yes, as your lordship must have surmised. It hit the pouch.
But that makes no sense whatsoever. We have already known the whereabouts of the bullet fired from Mr. Sholmes. It's clearly visible from the photographic print.
Ah! 2 guns at the scene have already been submitted into court record as evidence.
Yes, that of Mr. Windibank, and that belonging to the Skulkin brothers.
An examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each.
That must mean...
That's right. We now know on the night in question 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene. And until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment.
Order, order, order. While this summation examination remains incomplete, the court has been presented with new facts. The fact that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which this case against the defendant has been built. As my prerogative in the situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination.
By Jupiter!
What?
Bailiff, bring the witnesses to the stand at once.
I think I might have a half hour left before I close up shop.
Witnesses,
Governor?
were you listening to the proceeds while the defense carried out the summation examination? We was, Governor, we was.
Perhaps we can dispense with the tedious preamble and simply answer this one question. The third bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that?
Make of it, Gov? We'll make nothing of nothing.
It is one of yours?
Oh, blimey, Gov. Blimey. Not a chance.
In that case, did you have an accomplice?
What?
What? What? Never. The Skulkin brothers never work alone.
It's just the two of us. It's our trademark.
How soon do we forget poor Sulky?
Only 2 of the bullets from the crime scene originated from the firearms we have as evidence. The third bullet was fired from another gun. Where was it?
Not me. That's a head scratcher.
Counsel for the defense.
Yes?
I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these new developments. The third bullet and the mysterious missing firearm from whence it came.
Thinking back over the testimony we've heard and all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture of what really happened. My lord, I think it's clear what this third bullet tells us about the Skulk brothers. They had a secret accomplice. On that night at Windibank's pawnbrokery, the brothers must have been working with a third man. The witnesses are clearly doing their best to cover up the existence of this accomplice. But the evidence all points to someone else present, someone carrying a gun.
Objection!
An accomplice, you say? Pig swill. These protracted proceedings have already forced us to endure 2 summation examinations. Yet in all that time, there's not a murmur of a third man, if this apparent wraith-like being exists. The court must show hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed. The prosecution demands answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof, evidence that this accomplice has ever been at the scene of the crime. And secondly, the identity of this spurious character.
The Skulkins are lying, I know that. But how can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding?
Well, counsel,
I'm supposed to prove the existence of this accomplice. Reveal the person's identity, even. In response to the prosecution's demands, my lord, the defense is ready to present answers. Defense is ready. I believe I can provide all the answers the prosecution demands.
So, my Japanese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promises to be interesting.
I have to push forward. There's no other option. I need to use every single evidence available to me, if it'll make a difference.
in that case, counsel, I will ask you to present evidence without delay. On the night in question, in the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof do you have there was a third intruder?
The blood sample portfolio. These guys. Present the blood samples again. Let's see.
Take that!
The evidence is right here, in this portfolio.
By Jove, that portfolio again, is it?
Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific. You claim one of the blood samples proves the presence of the third intruder. Well, which one is it?
This guy.
Take that!
This is the blood sample that proves it.
You perplex me, Counsel, by looking so pleased with yourself despite this quite unpleasing answer.
You would do well to take your irrelevant specimens of blood and go back to whence you came. And I'll see you go down in this court as an equally irrelevant specimen.
Wait a second, what? I think it takes a certain genius to give such a completely wrong answer. You fucker, I gave the right answer. You claim one of those. It is this one. When prompted, I guess probably just... Oh, I guess I'll just do the first one then. Okay.
Take that!
What am I looking at here? There appears to be some kind of green paint and such like around the bullet wound in the middle of the calendar.
I could have easily explained that in backwards order. That's such bullshit. I got a demerit for that. Why, game? Why must I play by your rules? It's a blood stain, my lord.
A bloodstain.
Green blood. Curious even for you. Is the court to understand that the intruder was some unhuman creature?
It's something developed by Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Oh, you're a great detective. New inventions stop. Not yet appeared in stores stop. It's this, you see. It doesn't have a name yet, though. This fogger sprays a chemical that reacts to different elements in people's blood to change its color.
Different elements of people's blood.
Yes, everyone's blood is slightly different, you see. It's made up of different elements. So by seeing what color it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is. Oh, that brings a whole new dimension. An extra one of looking at blood. Talk of bloody courtroom stop. Very exciting stop.
As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Windibank.
A striking blue.
Yes, so you see the green color of the blood stain of this calendar. Shows that someone else was shot in the main part of the shop.
Now hold your fire, young man. Could it be from some unrelated incident, could it?
No, it's not unrelated. The date showing on the calendar is the date in which Mr. Windibank was killed.
By golly.
Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot on the same day.
And whose blood was it?
Well, the Skulkin brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any wounds. Which means it must be the blood of someone else. A third intruder, in fact.
Objection!
Whose identity? The court is still waiting to hear. You can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Who is the alleged third intruder?
It would have to be him because of the record. Accusing Gina of stealing the redemption ticket.
Take that!
The man's name is Eckert Benedict.
Eckert Benedict? Who on earth are you talking about, Counsel?
He paid a visit to Windibank's pawnbrokery on the afternoon before the incident took place.
Then the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing this article into her possession.
Okay, I didn't jailbreak an iPad, it won't work. Oh no. I guess maybe a few extra steps might cause it to not brick. The iPad's fine, but the jailbreak is you have to, it's like starting from scratch. Oh yeah, Benedict mentioned. This is coming on up. That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Eckert Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force.
Broker,
Yes, sir.
I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no?
Yes,
The article in question belongs to me. I demand it to be returned at once. Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull? Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel, and needless to say, any music box discs too. Inspector Gregson was there at the time. He can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc.
Can you corroborate this encounter, Inspector?
Well, yes, my lord. That's more or less what happened. And in the interest of being thorough, I asked Windibank for a print showing the fella. Taken from one of his red-handed recorder gubbinses.
Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Windibank that morning.
And you claim this man is the brother's accomplice?
Well, Mr. Skulkin?
Never seen the geezer before in me life.
Oh, me life, Gov. Me life. Never seen him.
Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion.
I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Japanese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice. Yes, and I can.
Well then, show us the evidence.
I agree. We must see the proof of this clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is the filthy criminal you say he is. This is the last piece of evidence. I've had a feeling this something's been missing in the trial from the very start. But now, I'm going to drag it kicking and screaming into the courtroom.
Are you ready to present your answer to the court, then?
Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. Proof that the man pictured was in fact the person struck the third bullet. Too pretty to kick and scream. Yay. The blood sample photos, and it would be this fourth one. The one we recently took the disc. Oh, present it again.
Take that!
That proof is right here in this portfolio.
Good gracious, counsel, does the portfolio contain answers to every question posed?
I see you share my interest in claret-colored liquids, my Japanese friend, but... Enough! The court demands to see further evidence. Which blood sample proves the man you identified was the one shot the third bullet at the scene of the crime? No, take me back. Take me back. Why can't I go back? Oh, which one proves that the shot was from the third bullet? It would be this one.
Take that!
This is the blood sample that proves it. Fuck. How do I get out of this? How do I get out of this menu? Shit. Has to be a sample that links. It was the disc. I just can't leave the menu. We need a sample of the blood. Get me out of this menu. Let's see. Another look through everything. Yeah. Cool. I get it. I'm doing bad. Get me out of this menu. What am I doing here? Out. Oh no. I can't get out of the menu. How do I...
Which sample proved Mr. Benedict was the one shot by the third bullet? It would be this one, right? I would just keep on presenting this. Yeah, this one. Oh, it just stopped. Oh. I just needed to pull out the disc. Attempted to see. I thought I already presented the disc. The defendant attempted deceitfully, admittedly, to reclaiming this disc from Mr. Windibanks.
Which is when the aforementioned Egbert Benedict appeared on the scene, I believe. The man then attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's possession, no?
That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time. It was following this that a minor incident occurred.
But of course, here's the disc for you.
Very well.
Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style.
Wait a minute. That disc. It's mine.
Oh, what do you think you're doing, you little tramp?
You've drawn blood.
You filthy animal.
Being a music box disc, it has countless small but sharp metal protrusions over the surface. Those protrusions cause Mr. Benedict's finger to bleed, and the resulting smear of the blood is still visible in the disc now.
Goodness, a blood stain, is it?
My assistant and I have just analyzed the blood here in this very courtroom.
Using my trusty fogger gun.
Yes, and we added the results to this portfolio.
I say, it's green. Exactly the same color as the blood on your calendar.
The evidence is conclusive. The man calling himself Mr. Egbert Benedict, who was the Windibanks earlier that day, is an accomplice who was present at the scene of the crime that night.
So there was someone else. Look at the brothers now, they're sweating bullets. Oh, who you talking to? I'm pointing there.
My lord, it is in the opinion of the defense that Mr. Egbert Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify.
It would certainly seem that I cannot ill afford to ignore this gentleman's apparent presence.
This has gone far enough long now. This flagrant ignorance to the mechanics of law. Sherlock Sholmes, you say? Yes, I've heard the name. The protagonist in a series of short stories from the vulgar classes, a god of detection of some such. And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fantastical persona in the highest court of the land. Do you expect us to take you seriously? The samples made by this plaything are not fit to be called evidence. So the bloodstain turned a shade of green. What of it? Here's to your successfully proving that no other blood in the world could turn the same color.
Well,
I spread my legs in frustration, and pray do not even think of suggesting we should take Mr. Sholmes' word for it.
Is he right? Mr. Sholmes' concoction's a load of rubbish? I don't know. I mean, he's a great detective. What are you talking about? We can't let him get away with that.
I knew it'd come to this. Of course, Mr. Sholmes' invention isn't going to be recognized by any official body. What other choice did I have?
I'm just remembering what Father Christmas over there said before. About how he was temporarily suspending the summation examination. In other words, the examination isn't over yet, is it?
Good grief. What did you just say, young girl?
In the summation examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it? So the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Hurley's invention.
At least, not for now.
Yes, she's right.
Young lady, you have quite the devious mind.
Really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you saw, Rumo. Is that about right, you would say? Or did I misunderstand something?
Unbelievable. Mr. Shom's partner is a force to be reckoned with.
Iris Wilson, sharpshooter.
After all, that shrewd presses of a situation from an entirely unexpected source. It must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination is yet to reach its conclusion.
This is absurd.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for your final leanings in the matter. As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you will come to fair and just conclusions. So then, state your final decisions in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Guilty.
Oh, little fucker.
Guilty.
Not guilty.
Two called guilty, and four called not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
Objection.
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision.
On what grounds?
If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretender of real police work, then they are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgments of anyone's guilt.
I'm sorry, Lord Van Zieks, but the outcome of the summation examination cannot be ignored. This trial will continue. Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense has very reasonably requested the subpoena of a new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible.
What?
The name the gentleman gave for himself, Egbert Benedict, is quite clearly false.
I don't believe it. Just when I managed to prove the man was there that night. Could I say something?
Who was that, please? Who spoke?
It was me, my lord.
Juror number 5.
What say you, madam?
If possible, Inspector.
Me, madam?
I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again. The one in which the gentleman was shown.
Oh, yes. This one, you mean? Of Mr. Benedict.
Yes, there's no doubt in my mind.
Juror number 5. You don't mean to say you know this man?
Yes, I know him.
What? No!
Good gracious! Order, order, order. Juror number 5, how on earth?
I am a communications officer, sir.
As we can clearly see,
The gentleman in the photograph is Stop. Also a communications officer, Stop. He works in my office, Stop. A very talented operator, in fact, Stop. He should be in the communication station now, Stop. Tapping away on the telegraph, Stop.
this doesn't seem right somehow. I can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right. While talking about Benedict, I'm gonna fight her. She seems too excited.
I suppose we all imagine the accomplice would be some kind of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out he was a respectable job by day, whatever he gets up to by night.
Yes, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something odd.
Oh shit.
If the gentleman is at the London's communication tower, we should be able to subpoena him within the hour. Lord Van Zeeks, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Make the necessary arrangements with all haste.
As your lordship bids.
The court will be in recess for 1 hour. When the new witness arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the gentleman's testimony. Inspector Gregson.
Yes, my lordship.
I should like to hear from you specifically about the events at the pawnbrokery on the day in question. Come to my chambers during the recess.
Yes, sir, my lord.
Very well. Court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m.
Alright. I'm probably gonna end it around now. I guess after this to be continued, I'm going to be able to... I'm probably gonna head off. I'm so tired. Starting to feel my voice give out. Like, yeah. Alright. Part 3. The 17th of Avril. Benedict for next stream, yes. I can't wait to get into it. It's gonna be really funny to see how he goes. The last time I saw him, he pointed a gun at me, so it's really funny to see exactly what on earth this dude was up to. Or what he was doing at the pawn shop.
But thank you so much for everyone coming over. Thank you all so much. It's really super awesome to be able to do all this. And thank you so much, Sejitsuna, for sending the raid. It was so awesome.
He was serving cunt, that's for sure. Yes. He was indeed serving.
But yeah, in case you haven't seen me before and you're not as familiar with my channel, I am Ragnaroka. I am an alien from beyond the stars. I am the host of a radio show where I jam on beats and do my jams. Yes. And I enchant the airwaves with my beauty mark. Because my beauty mark is magical and it transmits out all kinds of positive vibes and happiness. All that kind of goodness, joy, enthusiasm. So I'm going to take a poke of my beauty mark, poke the mic, and send out all kinds of positive vibes so that you'll all be pumped up for the next stream you watch. But until next time, I am going to be doing Sunday again. I'm probably going to be doing still Persona 3. Because I've been doing Persona 3 Portable for a while, like on Sundays. I'm not sure if I'm going to switch it up or not, depending on any fun happenings, but I'm pretty much going to probably lean on that for a bit. At least until maybe around September-ish. But until then, I'll see y'all Sunday. Bye.